good morning, Roman. How are you
Good
doing?
morning. How are you guys doing?
Well, me, myself, and I were doing pretty well.
Good. Let's join the Me, Myself, and I club.
Because yes, to the plural. Uh, we don't have Kathy today. Uh, no, nothing serious. She's not in danger, and she will not be available. She's watching the show,
Hmm.
and hi, Kathy. How are you doing? Be well. And she deserve a well rest. She deserve. How you say that? She need to rest. Put it that way. She needs to have some. Her life is quite intense these days, and
Mm-hmm.
she pushed herself as usual a little bit too much, and she paid a price. Now she need to rest a little bit.
Yep.
Nothing serious. Just need take it easy, relax, take your time of meditation, go inside, tap into your
Snuggle your
universal.
dog. Take your
Yes,
dog to bed.
right. Be well, relax, be happy. And we wish you, of course, the best. And we're going to have Kathy next week. Meanwhile, today, we have a topic designer dog. Hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
My question is what the heck is a designer dog? And I'll give you my prejudice. I'll be very frank and honest. I have a prejudice about designer dog. And for me, a designer dog is this little dog about that size, a pound and a half. Very
This is a hot
cute.
dog.
Excuse me.
Is it a hot dog?
A little bit larger, like a 1 pound hot dog on leg. So for me, when I heard the expression designer dog, I heard like yeah, a little thing like that, which is a pound and a half, or 2 pounds, or a very small dog that you can put in your pocket. That small dog. But apparently, I'm wrong. Apparently, there's other things than small dog or something else than a designer dog. That I understand. Well, for instance, uh, I came across, and I need to share my screen here. And I will play the god of technology. Please, please help me there. I'll try to have um, a video, a clip, not a clip, just a picture, an illustration of what. Oh, of course, my list is upside down. That's interesting. Uh, I don't understand this thing. Let me see. No, that's not what I put there. Oh yeah, here's one example of a dog. This is a Chihuahua, and it's among the smallest dog in the world. Are we? Do we agree on that? Are we on the same page? Is the Chihuahua?
There is the. What's the size? Like it looks big to me. It's a big screen I have.
Yeah, but it's based on this Wikipedia and the research I did. They list the Chihuahua as the smallest breed in the world. There's other dog of the same size or similar size, and Chihuahua has different variation. One is a short, how do you call that? Short hair, short coat,
Mm-hmm.
and there's one with a medium coat and one with a long coat. Is that the right expression? Am I
Yeah.
using
Yeah.
the proper language?
Yeah. I guess.
So, okay, it's a good guess. So Chihuahua is the smallest on the spectra of size of dog, and I hear a dog behind you chewing on something.
Yep. That's my dog. He's a designer dog. He's designed to be the perfect dog, and he's chewing on his perfect design chew bone.
Excellent. We're on the topic. I love it. So let's see what I have found out with another. I'm sharing another screen, another video. Well, now where is this one? Since everything shift around. Okay, here's one in the extreme dimension, and this is called Dog de Bordeaux. And the word dog,
Mm-hmm.
Dogue, is a French word.
Yep.
And the word dog, D-O-G, is an English word. I don't know if this take the French word and trim the end of the word, but this dog can reach what, 175 pounds, 200 pounds, something like
Yep.
that.
And his average lifespan is about 8 years.
Right. So in that connection, the bigger the dog, as a rule of thumb, and my understanding, the shortest is their lifespan. It's very
Mm,
short.
yeah, not really, but yeah, it
Okay,
can.
give me an exception. Give me
Uh,
an example.
English Mastiffs, they get older.
How old? Till 12 years
Um,
old?
12 years, maybe 13.
Really? Okay.
Large breeds such as guardian breeds can hit 15, 16 years old.
Saint
My
Bernard?
my guy here is 12.
Yeah, but what size is the dog?
He's about 100 pounds.
So it's upper medium size?
Yeah, the lifespan really depends on the heart rate,
Okay.
but we have some genetic mutation that do a damage on heart systems and health issues. And I think the topic captures that. It tells you, hey, you know what? Um, and there's a different, but we're going to talk about that. I don't want to kind of grab ahead. So go ahead with your examples.
I I'm the ignorant here. I the guy who don't know and want to try to
Well, you know,
figure out.
you're the devil's
I am
advocate. Like,
I'm the devil
why?
advocate. Well, for the fun of it, just okay. I want to bring another breed here because I want to bring another breed.
No,
Okay,
my
here's
question is, why did you choose Dr. Bordeaux to be a designer dog? What? I'm
well,
not. I'm
okay,
just asking, right?
okay. Here is my overall question
Okay.
from A to Z. Is there any way, any time in history where humans manipulate the different breed to create a new breed?
That's it. Well, that's I think that's a
Uh,
great.
uh, uh,
Yeah.
uh, uh, in English, please.
So first of all, we have two categories of reasons of breeding, or basically, let's call it three ways. And with no offense to anyone, we do have a difference between breeders who are breeding to preserve the breed,
Mm-hmm.
breeders who breed accidentally because they didn't take care of the dogs being able to mate with each other,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have the breeders who basically breed for profit. Sometimes we call them backyard breeders, sometimes we call it um, breeding facilities, but either way, I think there are three types of reasons for people breeding,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to make this clear distinction.
Okay.
um, we need specific dogs with specific traits doing specific things over the last 50,000 years. And the reason why they evolved the way they evolve right now is because we made sure that we keep those dogs that we like at our house in our area. So we have a dog who made with another dog, and these two dogs did specific things that we like. We try to keep them together. We're not giving them away.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a natural evolution of kind of, let's call it inbreeding, for dogs to stay in the family and continue a specific
Okay.
line, right?
Yeah.
Just because back then I needed a strong dog that guards my property. In that case, Dog de Bordeaux, it's actually a pretty old breed. If I remember right, it was, let me remember it, the years back then.
Was there a dog from the Middle Age?
Well, um, they were recognized back in 2007,
Mm-hmm.
and they are a mixed breed between bull mastiffs, bulldog, and a little bit of Napoleon Mastiff. Um, Now, I don't remember the year they were bred into, but I remember a conversation in a post that in 1960s they were almost deemed to being extinct,
Right.
and so they just got them back in. Now, remember Turner and Hutch?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was the bending point where people actually got introduced to that breed again, and then it took the direction it took right now.
yeah. Okay. You talk about I, in the vein of what you just said, in line with what you just said. I have in mind the idea of the wolf. Wolf seems to have a very consistent characteristic. I know there's multiple variety of wolf, but in the general idea is the wolf remain pretty much the same for a very very long period of time, if not thousands of years. Dogs is there. Dogs seems to create or evolve in multiple direction, while the wolf remain pretty much the same genetically and breed wise, the same over the time. Is that the human intervention make the dog become what it is? How come the original? Okay, here's the fundamental question: wolf and dog, is that from the same origin?
It's there's no clear answer to that.
Okay.
There is an idea, a theory
Mm-hmm.
that dogs and wolves, the way we know them now,
Yeah.
have a common ancestors with this is the ancient wolf, and we're talking about several thousand, 100,000 years back.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
However, we know from Native American cultures
Mm-hmm.
that there is a mention that dogs were at in the world before the humans were,
Mm-hmm.
which means the dogs is pre-existing the human species. They don't talk about the wolves. They have wolves in different separate mention, but they talk wolves and dogs are different things.
Right.
Okay.
That's I agree with that.
Um,
We're on the
I
same page.
I have read a couple of Greek, ancient Greek articles or references
Mm-hmm.
that are not translated into French or English. For some reason, nobody cares about that. But there are some Greek philosophers who talk about 100,000 of years of human dog evolution.
Yes.
100,000 years.
Right.
Now, if we see how people breed dogs,
Mm-hmm.
is dogs live in their common area and they're mating. Now the question is, what's first, the egg or the
Or a
chicken, right?
chicken.
Now, in
And
order
you
to
have the
breed,
answer for that, of course.
no, I don't have the answer. I'm
Well,
just
it's
have an idea.
okay. And what is your idea on that?
My idea is we have to see how do we evolve as a
Yes.
species.
Yes.
Let's say, for example, Gaetan suddenly wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to discover the world. You
That's good.
pack your stuff and leave. Who would you mate with?
Um,
Here's the problem. Why would you leave your family behind? Why
mm-hmm.
don't you go with your family to explore the world? Because you're safe. Here's
Right.
the key. Dogs are social beings. They're
Right.
not pack animals. It's a
Mm-hmm.
theory, but we need to see a pack equals a family when we think about pack mentality.
Yes. Okay.
We don't see pack is just family, just our family. Now, a dog, because a social being, he can co- coordinate and cooperate with other species to get one goal: survive.
Okay.
Now, we have this ancient dog that was already there, existed already as a sub or evolved species
Mm-hmm.
out of the original wolf
Yeah.
species,
An
right?
evolved species from.
And then they discovered down the road that family of dogs discovered Gaetan with his family,
Hi. How are you doing?
right? And they're like, holy bark, they have garbage out of their den,
Mm-hmm.
out of their living area. So whatever they eat and they don't eat everything. They dump some things like
Yeah.
bones and cooking
Mm-hmm.
stuff and vegetables.
Right.
And they discovered also that, these people are very consistent with their garbage, the good garbage, right?
Uh-huh.
They hang fish up the wall, and have these ancient things going on, and they're organized, and they're also being seen very often in the hunting traits because the dogs and the people have common hunting grounds.
Mm-hmm.
They need fresh, they need water, they
Mm-hmm.
need safety, right, from the
Yep.
elements.
Yep.
Plus, they're not going very far. They're very local.
Right.
And now seeing each other all the time, all of a sudden we have this influx of relationships. They both hunt together suddenly, and now they build that trust. So that, let's call it designer pack that you
Mm-hmm.
call, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meet Gaetan pack, and like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, how about we team up? We're gonna bark on the right side and you're gonna hunt from the left side, and now we're gonna eat together. And so we have this codependent relationship. We need each other, right? And since I
Yes.
trust you as a family, I'm gonna keep my puppies near you because my puppies will survive near your family,
Mm-hmm.
right?
You're you're big.
Plus, we have, go ahead.
You're bigger and meaner, so you can protect me against.
No, I would say they both have qualities.
Right.
People can predict things. They're observant. Dogs are observant, but they're faster. They kill faster. They're more organized. They
Right.
don't. They are not so loud. They don't need tools. They do it themselves, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's a perfect group.
Right.
Now, if I would be great, I would kind of call my relatives who are
Mm-hmm.
in the same area, like,
Okay.
hey, we have found some guys that share food with us. Let's go party. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you have multiple families of dogs being in that area, being supported by your family. Now all of a sudden you see how this becomes kind of a system. So the dog family and the human family suddenly becomes a team, and
Yep.
teammates. And
Okay.
all of a sudden we have those dogs breeding with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And of course you go down the road because you need some extra salt, and your
Right.
neighbor knows that he has a salt mine somewhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you said, hey, you know what? I got a couple of dogs that are awesome hunting. And you're like, dude, bring them over. And you're like, grab a couple of people, dogs, bring them over to your friend for exchange for something extra.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, you become the breeder who actually, the first time, exchange a dog because of his breed traits, because you like them and because they serve you so good. You
Mm-hmm.
share it with your other friend who also wants to survive.
So
So it
the
becomes a circle and spinning
of
and
it, right, a circle of interdependency.
right.
Everybody help each other.
Now, did anybody want to make money out of the dogs? No. They
Well, we're
shared
talking
because of the needs.
right, right. We talk about the time before any form of economy exists in terms of
Right.
dollars and cents, but it's a relationship which in symbiose, where one
Symbiotic relationship, very correct.
symbiotic relationship where each contribute to each one contribute to the other one, and so on and so forth. So it's a interrelationship which
Right.
preserve both species.
Now,
Quote unquote.
we have to see that people are very weird about things.
Yes, I
Like,
admit.
I don't like your headset. I love my headset.
Yeah, of
So I
course.
have a preference.
Yes,
I don't like your shirt. I like my shirt.
yes. I cannot find
I
another one this
love
morning.
your lighting. I want the same lighting that you have, right?
Yeah.
So if I see something that I like
Mm-hmm.
about you or about things you have, I would
Yeah.
like to have the same thing.
Right.
So we start exchanging information.
Mm-hmm.
So I want one of your dogs. Why? Because I like their size. I feel like comfortable, and I like how your dog went to school with your kids. I
Yeah.
don't, you don't, but right. And I want that too,
Yeah.
because I saw it with you, and I
Mm-hmm.
want exactly that.
Yeah.
And now I want the same dog that you have. And how do I get that? By getting one of your puppies,
Mm-hmm.
maybe two puppies or three puppies, a male and a female.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now I'm creating the same traits again. So we have the
Okay.
breed traits and
Yep.
we have the individual traits.
Okay.
Now this is how we start creating a dog, a designer dog. It's specifically designed to please my needs
Okay.
in look or behavior.
Okay. I agree with that. In our conversation or text exchange of text yesterday, whoops, this is what I'm looking for. You mentioned German Shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it can be a starting point to the conversation, which is just the follow up of what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, some species of dog branch with the human and create that symbiology, as that common interaction, where the two species, the human species and the dog species, benefit from that relationship. You have the German Shepherd as an example of dog. This is the closest thing to a dog the closest thing in terms of look to a wolf. It's very close to the look and the size of a dog, of a wolf. So let's start from the German Shepherd. and where this German Shepherd become our companion in, I would say, in the past 1,000 years, when this thing become part of our relationship here, and why we protect that design or that style of dog versus other style of dog.
Well, let's look a little bit further back, especially German Shepherd in the 20th century.
Yeah.
Um, von Stefanitz, if I remember right, he was a officer in the German military in the First World War, and
Mm-hmm.
he recognized that based on the old, writings, dogs being used for war dogs,
Mm-hmm.
and so he basically wanted to create um, a dog that serves the military to transport messages,
Mm-hmm.
bring weapons and ammunition to the front where you couldn't get. And so basically, he needed a dog to work as a specialized dog.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so um, in the 20th century, in the 19th century, right?
Yeah.
And now from there, um, they had to make that standard. How do we select a dog that is perfect for that war? And so he started using specific standards of different dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember right, he basically purchased about 200 German Shepherds. With 200 German marks, he basically purchased dogs and started breeding them. So the German Shepherd, as you see him now, does not look as the one he was there.
Right.
Okay, it was much different in the
Mm-hmm.
stance.
Yeah.
He had some basic characteristics, but not with the similar colors.
Right.
Now, they knew a little bit about breeding, not really much because we didn't have the knowledge that we have now. But he was the classic thinking that if you breed the same dogs all over again, you're going to make likely have the same breed traits.
Right.
But the reality was that the reason why those dogs performing in the militaries was because the way they were trained to do in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, there was not a nice way to train. So we recognize that not only the breed look is what makes the dog be the dog that we want. There's also the experience and the training effort that goes into it that makes the dog behave or do what we want him to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The look is completely different. For in the past, you would see the back hint of the dog was basically even, and over
Mm-hmm.
the years it went lower and lower.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
that's breeding politics. That's kennel club politics. Because one breeder has a dog who looks like that and he wants to promote his breed, he's going to
Yeah.
push the agenda to be that standard.
Right.
So the way we see dogs right now and the standardization of kennel clubs went downhill pretty soon as soon as we see there is money involved. And now everybody wants to breed and be successful breeder. It costs a lot of money to get a dog from a breeder or breed with your sire.
Yeah.
And you need to affect the politics.
Okay. So that's a very touchy subject in the sense that people will start developing or breeding dogs in such a way that they will try to reproduce an archetype, an
An
archetype
archetype of a dog.
of
Perfect.
a
Yeah.
dog. They want to have like a model. We see the German Shepherd, as you mentioned. The
Hmm.
lower legs, the legs are lower than the shoulder, and that's because the selection of which dog will breed with which dog, and we're expecting that result, and so on and so forth. So that's what I call designing dog.
Now
The
I sent you a
intent,
link. I sent you a link. Maybe you want to click on that link and see the evolution of, for example, Shamar Shepherd over the years through politics
okay.
in a
Let's
private chat.
yeah, I got it. Let me put. You want to? Whoops. Hold on a second. I just misclick on this thing. Okay. That's. Let me show this illustration because this is exactly what the topic is today. Well, sorry guys, I'm the dummy guy at the control today.
You do everything.
Yeah, I do everything. Let me see this. What's called external. Where is that thing? I just bring it here. Um, I'm trying to. Okay, let's me. I'll go one by one. You don't show it yet. I will find it. I just open the link in the background. I trying to bring that to the foreground. Come on, where is that thing? Because I have it on my tab here, next
Hmm.
to the tab for StreamYard, but it's not showing up on the list that I'm looking for.
Because you open it up in a picture, I guess.
No, I
In a
did
s-
not.
oh,
No, I went the way I'm supposed to do, following what. Oh, is that? Yes. Am I successful? Is that the one? Yes, that's the one, right?
yep.
So let's mix in the size here. Okay, that's the evolution of the German Shepherd from what it was to what it became.
Right. And this is just for the 1900s. The German Shepherds are older from that.
Right.
But we see how it changes over
Mm-hmm.
time. But
Mm-hmm.
that's the standard that people want to look for. That's particular athletic line. Now all of a sudden we have all these back legs being so low that dogs also have health issues, severe health issues.
Yes. Yes. He's not the only one, but that does create a health issue.
Mhm. I
Uh,
remember a couple of years ago, a pug who won actually um, the
the Kennel
the
Club.
breed, the
Right.
breed, yep, and he was so sick that he actually had to have surgery to actually be able to breathe, and he became the winner. What kind of standard is that?
Uh, not good. Not
No,
good.
no,
Not good. This is a lot of, I would call it a lot of ego there. A lot of, have you seen my dog? My
right?
dog is look better than your dog, and therefore I deserve more respect. That's to my mind, it's very questionable. This attitude of trying to create something which doesn't exist, and then having a result where the dog is practically a monster, physiologically speaking, with
Yeah.
handicap, and say, that's the breed, that's the dog. It should be like that.
Mhm.
You should have a handicapped dog because it's so cute, it's so lovely.
We don't see that many dogs suffering from those breathing techniques with headaches and health issues.
Mm-hmm.
They're constantly in pain. Like the Chihuahua, how can you fit such a small brain, such a big brain in a small dog?
Yes.
Right? You see that actually the brain is
Is
wolfed over. I mean, and we know some dogs really suffering from severe anxiety and stress and hormonal issues,
mm-hmm.
and not many breeders do the test that they should do because of course every test costs.
Right.
And if somebody comes up that his dog is not healthy, then the whole thing goes down the drain. You have to spend so much money to purchase the dog, and you cannot
Mm-hmm.
breed the dog, right?
Right.
But it doesn't matter if you're breeding from assets and see, okay, I have 5 dogs. Each dog will have 10 puppies. That makes me $50,000.
Yeah.
Great, right?
Yeah.
And then we have those others ideas that dogs are hypoallergenic, like this
Mm-hmm.
little fella.
Well, okay, that was my next topic. Next part of the conversation is the same topic,
Hmm.
and it's not a German Shepherd, by the way. Hold on a second, my
No.
battery is Labradoodle,
Hmm.
and so the history of the Labradoodle is very interesting. Roman is coming to the conversation, coming back. So the history of the Labradoodle, based on what I understand, there was a blind woman in the U.S. I think in central states, somewhere in like
Hmm.
Kentucky or in one of these states. I will not swear it was Kentucky, but she's somewhere in America. She was blind and she needed a guide dog, which is hypoallergene, will not make her suffer. And the
Hypoallergenic. Yep.
right, thank you. And the Labrador was a problem for her. And in Australia, there's a doctor who decide a vet who make the attempt to breed a poodle with a lab, and then became the breed of Labradoodle. And then the lady got a Labradoodle as a guide dog, and she was fine, health wise, no allergy. And then the Labradoodle become a breed. And what I read there from the doctor is before the breed becomes stabilized, it
Hmm.
took about 35 generation
Right.
before it's become like, okay, this is like consistent from one generation to the other one. Before that, you have a mixed result. The second generation, you might have like a six, or let's say you have six puppies. One will look more like a poodle, and the other one will look more than a lab, and you have a mixed bag in between. And by selecting the animal which look more than the one they aim to achieve, they will have more breeding between dog which look like the same, and then at the end of the process, like 35 generation later or 35 years later, the Labradoodle become more consistent. So this is another designing, but the reason it was done was for health reason. So should we ban or discourage designer dog, or is that a plus?
Well, let me clarify things. First of all, a Labradoodle is not 100% hypoallergenic, and if we talk of hypoallergenic, is we're looking at the creation of thunder um, in the breed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, for example, the soft cotton Wheaten Terrier is non-shedding. Okay, and that would be the perfect breed already. But he's too small. You need a
Yeah.
bigger dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, again, as you said, in order to create that hypoallergenic dog, you have to have several generations of a dog who has the size and a dog who doesn't shed,
Right.
right?
It's not
And
that simple.
the chances you get the dog the right are 0.4. It's not 50%. It's 0.4. It's less than 50%
Right.
chances. So
Mm-hmm.
you're not sure that you get what you need by less than half.
Mm-hmm.
And there are other genetic factors considered. Now, what I recognize over the years working with people who have behavior issues or are allergic or want to give up the dog because they got a dog for hypoallergy but still have allergies to dogs
Mm-hmm.
is that food is a major aspect of what the people are allergic to. An unhealthy dog is more likely to cause allergic reaction to people than a dog who eats healthy. So sometimes we breed for the wrong reason and hit the wrong target and missing the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it doesn't matter if you have a golden doodle or a schnoodle or a bear noodle or a Maltese sichu, whatever, or a cockapoo, all these things who are low allergy combination
Right.
are being definitely explored in the last 20 years. Like if you want to create a new dog, you try
Mm-hmm.
to reinvent the wheel who somebody else did it before you, or you want to just be different.
Mm-hmm.
Like what you're
Yeah.
gonna mix a little bit more red or green to the quid.
Yeah.
um, and so I think the chances to pass defective genes up to the next generations
Yeah.
is still 50%.
Mm-hmm.
So, but here's the reality. There's not much difference between a mutt and a designer dog. The mutt just was an accident choice of partners, who, by the way, I believe a dog who's free roaming has a better pick of a healthy dog than a
Mm-hmm.
dog who's being forced to breeding.
Right.
Because dogs have natural selection of what makes him so attractive to that particular dog. Just
Mm-hmm.
because she's 1 in 10,
Right.
right? So in free environment, dogs are more likely to survive and breed with the strongest and most smart dogs. So we have a cognitive evolution as well, not just look evolution.
Right. Yeah. The natural way will be the strongest or the best dog, the healthiest dog,
Right.
will will have a better chance of breeding. Uh, how you say that in French? To have interaction with other dog to
Right, right.
reproduce, which would be also healthier.
So I would
Then
say over the years that we observed dogs in different species,
yeah,
these were not really forced breeding. It was evolutionary breeding.
right.
Up to
Yes.
the point that then we says, you know what? Like Alexander the Great, who basically had all the guardian breeds, all these people who basically were not soldiers, they were
Mm-hmm.
farmers,
Mm-hmm.
and they in order to protect their country or to join the military, they become officers, and each one of them had a personal dog. All
Right.
of them were guardian breeds.
Mm-hmm.
So if we see how mastiffs evolved through the Europe and through Asia and through the like Earth, was basically him and his officers breeding their dogs in different places, breeding with local breeds.
Mm-hmm. That's that's very interesting because we combine the history of humanity and the evolution of dog as a side by side story. It's not separate.
Right, right, right,
It's interconnected.
right.
Uh, we have a lot of to cover. We cover a lot so far. I brought the bulldog because I think it would be too long to talk about the bulldog, the French bulldog, and the English bulldog, and the American bulldog, and their evolution. Why it's one is almost a monster, and the other one is like a toy, and the other one is a kind of a medium-sized dog. That's probably a longer conversation we can have. But so far, how can you summarize what the idea of designer dog is today? How do you
It's
look
a
at that?
mess.
Huh?
It's a mess.
Yes.
It's
Clarify
totally.
what should be and what should not be.
First of all, we have to rethink the concept of breeding
Yeah.
and the reason of breeding. Um, I'm not pro breeding. I'm not against breeding. I feel every person has the right to have a partner.
Mm-hmm.
However, you cannot just force a partner to be with you.
Right.
Um, I think we should walk away from the idea that I have the right to pick up a dog
Mm-hmm.
and the breeder has the right to breed dogs.
Yeah.
We have to see dogs as sentient beings that should have a right of choice of a partner,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I would see myself being abducted by aliens, and because they like me so much, they're going to force breeding with another person I don't like and make money out of it. I hate that. I don't
I
like it. Sorry.
I agree 100% with you. What bugged me about designer dog is when it's done for the show, for the appearance or the fluffy, the glamour. That's where I'm looking. The
Hmm, hmm.
glamour of, oh, my dog, monsieur, my dog is this and my dog is that. This is the type of breeding and designer dog
Well,
approach.
as you already have this French accent to the situation,
Yes,
I
I
think
have.
the French started with the designer dog to start with, right?
Oh, these French people are terrible, terrible. They are
Magnifique.
food and they are fashion,
Right.
and they
Okay,
are
no, no, no bad feelings about the French, because if we wouldn't have French, we wouldn't have um, the standard poodle, who was actually a German dog.
right.
Yep, he was actually a German dog, and he was basically become a French dog just because they just love those poodles, and they brought him to France, and now it's a French dog.
Yes,
It's
I.
like bringing in a Wiener Schnitzel to US and call it a Wiener burger, and all of a sudden it's an American thing. It's not. No.
Let's me take an illustration just in the line of the topic, and we're really on the same page here. Let's me.
And I have a lot of friends who are breeders, and
Yes.
I would say they actually have a proper approach. They have family members, basically part of the family. They grew up with the family. They eat healthy. They feed healthy. They're selecting their adopters in a very proper way. With, oh, he's so cute.
What happened to the bulldog?
Well, he didn't look like that before.
No, absolutely
No,
not.
he
This
he
is
looked like different.
yeah. Let me show you a French bulldog. No, not the modern French bulldog. Um,
No, that's English bulldog.
let's see, an English bulldog. Let's me retrieve that. I have a picture of an English bulldog.
No, there was an English bulldog.
That that was an English bulldog.
Mhm. There is an
There's
old English bulldog, yeah, that looks a little bit different.
right,
And then you have the French bulldog, and then you have the Bostonian,
right.
right?
So this is the American bulldog, which
Yeah,
look pretty much
that's a designer dog.
yes, but
Okay.
the in the 1800s or 18th century, 1700, there's some painting of a French bulldog, and they look little bit like this one. I would say it's the back is taller, and the shoulder are less pronounced, quote
Mm,
unquote, and they call that um, dog, Dogue,
mm-hmm.
the grand dog, I know some name like that,
Right.
and that species evolve to the point where we have the English bulldog, which is
No,
kind of
no.
a poor creature. So that's evolved to this, and that's very sad. I don't know. People like this dog. Is this dog is comfortable in his skin? Is
Good
that any
question. Good
problem
question.
of breathing, for instance?
Yes, he has usually allergies in
Right,
between his wrinkles.
right.
His tail is so mutated that
Yeah,
actually he needs help to be cleaned.
yeah,
Okay, it's a basically almost grows into his body. It's very, very tiled up.
yeah.
Um, and then they have a lot of allergies.
And
Very
yep,
sensitive dog, digestive issues. They get very stressed,
right. And they have
and they have hard
difficult.
time breathing.
Mm-hmm.
These brachycephalic dogs have difficult breathing. They get
Yeah,
easily overheated,
right.
right? So that's not a healthy thing to do,
No, and they have difficulty in their motion. They're not good runner, for instance.
right? They cannot
Uh,
even give birth normally. Some of
yeah,
the dogs breeds that
right,
we
right.
breed.
So that came from a cross breeding, breeding to develop that size and that look, and that's the kind of guy say, "This is my dog. This is what I look like." Ba 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 ba, and the dog is a monster, quote unquote. And it's very. I think it's very sad to have a dog which has handicap like that, and subject to illness and pain and suffering from the moment of his birth, just because I like the look. Okay, on this word of wisdom, there's some good reason to have designer dog, but when it's just for the look, I don't think it's going in the right direction. It's not helping the dog.
I personally don't see a reason why we need more designer dogs. And designer dog is just an expression of somebody who
Mm-hmm.
just gambles with other
Yep.
breeds, trying to
Yep.
have something that already exists.
Right.
Okay, we have over 250 breeds,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't think we should fit the breed into a home
Yeah.
because basically what we would need is a pet dog. But what is a pet dog? A
Yeah.
pet dog is a dog who is bred to entertain people. That is a problem. It's a
Yeah.
serious
It's
moral
a
issue.
and also if you do a research on Wikipedia about the dog breed, you will see a number of breed which are extinct.
Yeah.
So sometime in the past, somebody breed a dog to have a given shape and a given look, and then it's out of fashion. In the
It's
50s,
out of needs.
it's out of fashion or out of need. An
But
example of that, Coley, the TV show in the 50s. Everybody wanted to have a Coley dog. Have you seen a Coley dog lately?
Lassie.
Lassie, right? Sorry, Lassie was the name of the dog. It was a Coley dog. Have you seen a Coley dog recently? A full size one?
No,
I haven't seen
I've worked with them a couple of years back. That was the only one I worked with.
yeah, and I haven't seen personally a Collie dog at least for 20 years. I saw a miniature one maybe once, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. But in the 50s, 60s, because of the show lassie, everybody wanted collie dog. My neighbor has a collie dog, the farmer has a collie dog, my uncle, and so on and so forth. Um, and when it's a matter of fashion like that, this is the what's the purpose of doing these things? Why
Yeah.
are we acting like that?
We have to get back in our proper mindset and think about if you
Yeah,
want a working dog,
yeah,
what is the work that you want the dog to do for?
yeah.
If you want a companion dog, let me show you one. Here. It
Perfect.
does exactly what you want. You can
Excellent.
pull the ears, you can
Yes.
change the color, right?
Yes.
You can pull the tail, you can do everything that you want.
I
And
agree.
it has a tag on it.
Yeah, and the
We can
Japanese
return it.
have one which is moving, which is getting warm, and we can like move his head, move his tail. To yes, that's the dog you want if you don't care for dogs.
Having a dog is not a privilege. What am I saying wrong here?
You went backward.
Yeah, having a dog is not something that you deserve. It's something you have to earn, and
Right.
not financially.
No.
It's you don't have a child because you deserve a child.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you have a responsibility that comes with it,
Yeah.
lifetime responsibility. It's
Hmm.
taking somebody else's child and put it in your family. It doesn't matter because it's a dog, it's less of a child of somebody's mother
Right.
or
Hmm.
parent.
Yeah.
We don't have rights over the animals the way we think. Okay, they're not objects,
Property. They are not object.
right? And
I object, Your Honor.
in
Yeah.
some countries they're being seen as family members.
Hmm.
So we are going in the right direction. We're just going too slow.
Yeah.
So if I would have an action button, I would press that button. I want those people who want a dog
Hmm.
to go through the same process of adopting a child.
Yeah. I agree and
That's my
completely,
take.
totally agree with that.
And
It's
that's why I have also puppy parenting classes.
hmm
I educate people before they get a dog to be informed and knowledgeable. And I'm not talking about online research. I research all the breeds, I know everything about them. It's about understanding the
yeah.
work that has to be done to get that breed trait and
Yes.
make it a personality of a dog.
Hmm. Thank you, Roman, for this word of wisdom. I consider dog as a conscious living being, and that's how I see my relationship with the dog. It's a conscious relation. It's a conscious living being, and as a conscious living being to another conscious living being, I wish everything good for them. So thank you for that. Thank you for everybody. Thank you for watching. Share with your friend if you find anything interesting in this show or
And
previous
sign
show,
up on YouTube
and
or
sign up on
Facebook,
YouTube.
follow.
Yeah, yes, and follow on YouTube. And thank you. We'll see you again next week. Kathy will be back with us, God willing, and we'll be in good shape. I will run the yes, the outro, and I'll say thank you, bye bye, cheer. Roman, thank you again. Really, really appreciate your input. Thank you, bye bye.
Bye bye, everyone.